Hey guys, in this video I'm just going to do a quick subdivision using some of Giraffe's subdivision tools. And the first thing I'm just going to say, this is my site over here, and you can see the pattern of subdivision where we are, a sort of 10-meter wide blocks. They're about 280, maybe 300 square meters, with detached houses with a relatively large size, like an 8-meter sort of rear setback and quite a short, maybe a 2-meter front setback. All right, so armed with that knowledge, I'm going to do a very, very quick one. So I'm going to model this street up, this street, and then I'm going to assume that we're going to do something like this. Now for the street, I'm going to set that to a 12-meter street, sorry, a 16-meter street, which seems too big. So I'll go down to a 12-meter street, which seems more accurate. And I'll do a 1.5-meter footpath, which seems roughly right. And Giraffe will sort of solve those road intersections for me. What we can do is we can add a corner just to radius them out, maybe 5 meters. Okay. And looking at these, you can see there's quite short ones, there's quite long ones. Our site here is a little bit interesting. So let's, to kind of match the urban pattern here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use our subdivision tool, residential subdivision tool. I'm just going to trace one of these out like this, and I'm going to pull it in. Now you can see in this subdivision tool, there's quite a large, in the defaults, there's quite a large offset. The land is coming out 5 meters. Whereas in this subdivision, that's not the pattern. The front of the street is maybe only 2 meters out. I'm just going to open the flow builder, and this offset, which is 6, I'm going to change to 1.5. All right, and that brings it right in, much closer to the actual pattern of subdivision. You can see I'm generating trees automatically, and from our previous work or our previous lookage, we were going for a 10-meter frontage roughly, and that's giving us roughly a 280. And I'll say the council's going for a minimum 270 square meter in a parcel size, or a lot size. Now in Giraffe, there's an inner and an outer. So you can see here the inner and then the end parameters. And what those are is if we change the spine to manual, we can pull it in. And then Giraffe will create what we call these end lots. And I'll just match those numbers there. So I'll make them 10 and 10. There you go. And now we can pull that in on the side over there. And this way we're getting form which is much more similar to this. Now it actually looks like this area is being retained, so it's not actually being turned into subdivision. That's fine. We can sort of do a mixed kind of approach with our subdivision like that. And then what we can come and do and say there's going to be apartments or retail over there, we can just build that retail directly. Now, just before we move this subdivision onto our site, I'm just going to fix the setbacks up. So you can see the rear setback actually seems to match the existing quite well, but the side setbacks are wrong. So back into the subdivision algorithm, and I think those side setbacks are about 0.9. There we go. That's good. All right. So now that we've done this, and this is kind of matching existing urban form, what I want to do is I want to pop it on our site and see how it goes. So it looks like we can actually fit 2 like this. All right, especially if we shrink them in slightly and shrink this guy in slightly. Now you can see the frontages are growing there because the minimum size is 270 square meters, and so that's why those frontages are growing. And what I can do, just to sort of demonstrate, is that I can show the overlay, and you can see those are 278, and these end ones can really shrink down quite a lot before they change. I'll solve for 10 meters on the ends. There we go. All right, that's a bit better. So I guess the question is this racking them up vertically like this the right way to go, or should we be doing it in a different option? And what's so nice about Giraffe is we can test this stuff so quickly. So let's just show this as an option, and maybe we need to shrink this guy down. Okay, so we get this lot now. If I zoom out, we're getting 93 houses. And I'm just going to turn this off. I'm just going to turn this back to auto spline. I don't think there's any benefit with these end caps. Okay, so we're getting 97 houses in this configuration. Now, where that's coming from is this single family over here has a dwelling count of 1. If we change that to 2, you'll see that the house count goes up. So it's 97 parcels, 97 houses. So let's add another drawing layer called option 2. Can't spell option. Option 2, create. And I want to try short blocks oriented north-south. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy one of those, turn off the default layer, and paste this guy on. I'm going to spin him exactly 90 degrees, something like this. And then I'm going to do that. Now, I'm also going to grab just the road from option 1, and I'm going to pop it onto option 2 as well. There we go. And you can see as I copy paste these parcels along, the number of houses is increasing. And kind of as expected, this is far less efficient because the number of roads in this option are far more, right? In option 1, you've got roads, and we may as well finish these roads. So let's just chuck a road over here. Oh, sorry, I'm drawing on an invisible layer. You've got to draw in Giraffe on the active layer. Get that to 12, and then I'll draw the next road. Get that to 12. Okay, so you can see the roads there's fewer roads relative to this option. There's kind of roads 1, 2, 3, 4. And it turns out that this side road is less inefficient than the other road. So this would probably be the option I would be pursuing. And it makes sense. It's a bit skinnier than this existing built form, but it does make sense why they are what they are. I guess I'll show one more thing. I'll just turn the overlay off by clicking that button. I'll just pull this back slightly. And I'm just going to create I'm going to do two things actually. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create like a little park. And then I'll create a community building. Now you can see my community and my single family are the same sizes. So I'm just going to change that single family to a slightly different color, a bit paler. I actually change it to white with like this gray. There we go. And then my community building really pops, and I'll add an extra level on that. My community area is 816 square meters, and my single family is 20,000 of GFA. Awesome. I think that's a pretty good demo of how you can very, very quickly, and to a high level of detail, but not to the nth level of detail. You're not getting civil construction drawings out of this. Create a subdivision in